Welcome to Great Talk and Entertainment. I'm your host, KJ, and this is the podcast where we review movies and TV shows from all your favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Great Talk and Entertainment Official. Please subscribe, smash those thumbs up, leave a lot of comments to tell me what you think about all these Marvel shows and movies. And of course, share this with your friends and family who are interested in hearing reviews. Please tell them to check out Great Talk and Entertainment Official right on only on YouTube and help this channel grow so we can give you more content and great entertaining things. So let's go, baby. Now, as we start for the episode 1 for the new Disney Plus series, Moon Knight by Marvel Comics, or Marvel Studios as they are now. Now, this is a spoiler, so I'm always going to spoil these. So if you have not seen any of the Disney Plus Marvel shows, please go watch all of them. Then come back to the Great Talk Entertainment official channel and check out my reviews. Tell me what you think. Leave a comment about it, of course. So, you've been warned. This is a spoiler, so let's get into it. The first episode starts on a slow pace until the ending, just to build up for episode 2. That's fine. It is a psychological and horror feel with this. Some of the highest, high intense scenes has a very action packed to it, but it stays on a slow pace where there's a lot of dialogue of the actors just acting and expressing how they feel, giving us a very emotional ride to help you grow closer and connect with, of course, like Moon Knight and the other characters that you will see on all these episodes of the new Moon Knight series, of course. So it's a lot of growing, a lot of this. So it's really going to be fun. And now, of course, this is the origin story of Moon Knight. So I would say about the first 3 episodes, or maybe the first 3 episodes, you'll see more of it, or a little bit of an origin story of Moon Knight to kind of see where Moon Knight came from, why does Steven have this, who is Steven all about, and a lot of it's going to introduce you to new characters that possibility could expand throughout all the Marvel movies and shows. Who knows? But it definitely has a lot of potential characters already. So they're definitely not holding back the punches as Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield's. No, it was Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man said, not holding the punches back. So, alright. Now, Moon Knight / Steven. So Steven is a person who has that nerdy, shy, not really outgoing, but he's really a pushover you see that a lot when he's at his job. He's very quiet to himself, so he's more of an introvert with this. So he's not like Captain America. He's definitely not Iron Man, but he does have a badass persona when Moon Knight comes out. Now, Steven lives in London and he works at a museum, and obviously everybody at his job basically is not looking at him, not taking him serious. They think he's weak. They think he's weird. His boss is a bully and does not respect him and won't give him any other job opportunities, because he would like to. In this show, they show Steven would like to be like a tourist guide. He would like to be the one that walks everyone around the museum and explains the history of each artifact that you see in that museum. But obviously, this is his boss doesn't want him to, or doesn't think he's worth even giving him a shot. But that all changes, obviously, because Steven's not trying too much out there. He's not really trying to be noticed, because when we get into Moon Knight, we see that Steven has to change himself up, lock his door, put tape around the doors, lock the windows, and put sand, very superstitious stuff that that you would hear about in today's society, obviously, or old folktale stories. And the reason why is because when Steven falls asleep, the character Moon Knight takes over him, kind of like Venom does to Eddie Brock. It has that type of chemistry. But this one, these two are different dynamic dual team. With Eddie Brock and Venom, uh, you seen those movies. You see they're more of a bad cop, good cop, brother and brother type format. But this one's more of Moon Knight is more like Batman type, so he doesn't really care about Steven like that. He just needs Steven's body so he can fulfill his destiny, his mission, whatever. And that's the type of character Moon Knight is. And Steven's really trying to keep him locked up and not out. But as she's telling this episode, it doesn't really help. Some way, somehow, Moon Knight does get out of that apartment. He does go out, and Steven wakes up not knowing what's going on. Sometimes it's a different day, sometimes it's a different month, or even a year. So Moon Knight takes over, and he leaves Steven like out the dust, out the not knowledgeable, doesn't know what's really going on. He even hides things in Steven's own apartment. Like we learned that he had like another cell phone, like a track phone, or those reusable phones type things. And you see, like, there's a lady named Layla. We don't know who Layla is, but she exists, and I'm sure in episode 2 they tell us more about that. But what I think about that, it just shows like that Steven is actually living with a curse. It's more of a curse. He's more of a deadly tragic. Moon Knight has his own agenda. Moon Knight is an Egyptian god like. So he does not have any true feelings. He does not, have any empathy for human beings. So that's why this type of dynamic duo is totally different from Venom and Eddie Brock. The only thing that's relatable is Moon Knight controls Steven, just like Venom controls Eddie Brock. So that's the only difference. That's the only thing. Well, not difference, but there's only similarities that they have, but totally, totally different. Then we see the new villain, Arthur Harrow, a cult leader with an ancient Egypt power from an old god, which that cannot be harnessed, cannot be tamed. It looks like an entity, which that definitely connects Moon Knight series to the Marvel's Eternals, which is a great movie to me. My girlfriend didn't like it. And in this one, he has his ability to see the future of somebody's death, or he can cause somebody's death. He's like Two-Face from the DC comics, where Two-Face has a coin. It's a coin that has a heads and a head. It's not a heads and tails, it's just two heads. And sometimes, like, Two-Face decides, oh, you know what, I'm really gonna just treat this person. It's kind of like that, but Arthur has Egyptian powers. So, for example, you see that he has this cane of an alligator, which is an alligator that usually Egyptians worship in a way or talk about in their mythology of old gods. And it's just a cane, but the old lady holds it, and obviously she was gonna die. So an entity of an alligator that only Steven can see because of Moon Knight is an alligator that kills the old lady, but to the public, she just turns really pale and grayish. So it's definitely very connected to the Marvel's Eternals, which that just means like that they're like certain Marvel characters, like Moon Knight's gonna be one of the potential characters that's going to or could show up in a Marvel's Eternals movie, or the Marvel Eternals could show up on Moon Knight on this season, or maybe the next season if they do another season. But who knows? But this definitely shows that Moon Knight is definitely going to be a potential Marvel character that could cross over and team up with the Eternals, whether it's just one of the Eternals or all the Eternals, because in the MCU, this is why it's very important that they're putting the Internals Easter eggs in the show already, is because the old gods do exist. The old gods are the entities that created the Internals. This is a prime example of them interfering, which they weren't supposed to, but they are interfering. And the Celestials are allowing it for whatever reason. And this is also definitely heavily connected to Thor, all the characters from the Thor franchise. So it's definitely in this one scene, and Arthur just demonstrated that all in one scene with this old lady. As we go on, the next topic is what's real, not real. This show, we learn that Steven is not a reliable narrator. He's telling us this is what's going on, this is what he's viewing, but this could all be fake. This could be not the actual reality, because Steven refuses to go to sleep. Because, like I said, when he does fall asleep, Moon Knight takes over the body, and this is what he has to do. So we don't know what's real, what's not. And here's another example. During the chase scenes and fighting scenes, when you see him pass out and hypervent with anxiety, he passes out and then he wakes up, and you can see Moon Knight took over, and he either just murdered everybody or beat everybody up. And Steven has no clue. So that's why you see, when you see that, it's like they cut scene to scene and is a different. And sometimes he wakes up in different places. He could be in a different country. He could be in America. He can be, back in his apartment. He could be on the buses in London. And obviously, you see that Arthur knows about this. There's a golden medallion that's an Egypt item, and he wants that for whatever reason. But Moon Knight stole it for him, and they haven't discussed why he stole it. But as much as Steven tried to give it back, Moon Knight will not give that back to Arthur for whatever reason. Obviously, Arthur has an evil plan to use that for, and Moon Knight's not going to let that happen. So we can't figure out. You got to and this is a show you got to rewatch at least twice to see what's real, what's not real. And the one thing I rewatched this yesterday, and the one I think is not real is the Golden Man cameo. I don't think nobody was there. I think that was all in Steven's head. Like, that's his imaginary friend that he's hallucinating to. And I think when the tourist asked to take a picture, they just wanted to take a picture next to that fountain. And that's what it was. They probably just think he's a homeless crazy dude. That's why they dropped the money. I really think a lot of this stuff is in his head. And I think Moon Knight is actually it would be the true narrator to trust. Steven is more of a false narrator. He's going to mislead you and have you believe everything he views. So with this show, you're looking at two different eyes, but in one body. And I believe whatever Moon Knight's viewing is actually what's going on in the current time. Now, in the timeline, this is after Hawkeye, which is very interesting, is because we know what happened in Spider-Man No Way Home. We know what happened in Hawkeye. And now this is after, after Christmas. So this is definitely the beginning of January. This is like January. I would say January. It's still cold. It's probably leading up to spring in a way. And what I think about that is, I think this is a really cool twist. It's a very different direction of a Marvel format. Like, this is like has that psychological thriller / horror feel, because a lot of this stuff is supposed to spook you out, just like that. For example, when he was in the elevator and he saw that, and that older lady came out, he thought he was seeing like a monster, but it was really this older lady, and she was freaking out because Steve was on the floor looking like a crackhead. So he doesn't know what's real, what's not. So you're definitely going to be misleaded with that. That's what I mean by being misleading. And it's a psychological thriller. So this is a show. I would say this is like the first Marvel show of just a live action in general that has that type of format. You know, they usually do, you know, action packed film, a lot of fighting, a lot of explosions, whether it's the Guardians to the Avengers to a Doctor Strange. There's always a fight. There's always action packed. No, this one's like a just a twist and turn type thing, and I think this is really awesome. This really does expand the Marvel universe in a way that you're gonna have these new characters who are not gonna be very action packed, like a Captain America or an Iron Man or even a Wanda, because not all these characters are like them, and they're really making sure that each show is very different. In Moon Knight, Blade, and Ms. Marvel, they're the ones who are going to be a little bit different. They're the ones who are going to do a whole new format of the MCU, and I just love it about that. And this is definitely going to have a great new audience to want to watch this because he's not a superhero and he's definitely not an anti-hero. Anti-hero. He's definitely an Egyptian god, and it's a story that is a lot different. It's definitely, if you just watch this one episode, it definitely does not fit how the MCU is since from phase one to this phase. But it did took a whole new turn, and it's definitely not your typical Avengers build up as well. So I'm okay with that. I'm definitely okay. It does not have to fit, but we know he exists in the MCU. So I really like this. I think the show is really great. I think there's only like 5 episodes, but they're like at least an hour long. But this is gonna end up being a great. I do kind of hope this leads us to the Midnight Suns with Moon Knight, Blade, and Ghost Rider type team up. I definitely hope they put the Daredevil in here. I mean, this would be an amazing thing. So who knows? And I also think this is leading up to uh, uh, Thor's Love and Thunder, because I think this has a lot to do with Thor in a way, and it's the little Easter eggs. You know, for example, one of the co-workers at the museum, she had an artifact that looked one of like the Infinity Stones. So we know the Infinity Stones were destroyed, but she had a look-alike. So does that mean there's more than one of the exact same Infinity Stones? I'm not sure, but that one, the way it looked like the one that, Thor had, Nick Fury has, the Infinity Stone that even the Guardian of the Galaxy had at one point. So, and of course Thanos, duh. But that one was an Easter egg to Thor. So some way, somehow, this is all going to lead up to Thor: Love and Thunder. So, if I had to give this episode 1 out of 10, I'm definitely giving this an 8. It has a great potential. I can't wait for more. This is the first Marvel show that's more of a psychological thriller, and I cannot wait to see more. So definitely love this show. I'm enjoying this. So there you go. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talk and Entertainment Official. Please subscribe. Smash that like button. Leave a comment and tell me, guys, what you think about Marvel Moon Knight. Peace.